This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
We're here in Krakow at the location of the very first Beis Yaakov established by Sara Schenirer. You see on the sign, she was nifter on the 26th of Adar in 1935. It's interesting that my grandmother's sister was on the way from Sachachev to Krakow at the time that the war broke out, and she had to turn around even though she was accepted in the Beis Yaakov. There's a well-known story about 65 years ago. A historic bris milah took place for a grandson of Rabbi Meir, who, by the way, was a grandson of the Ger Rebbe, and it was like a who's who of Gedolei Yisrael. There are many dignitaries there. Many of the grandchildren of the Gedolim of the previous generation, grandchildren of the Chavetz Chaim, Slonimer Rebbe, Vizhnitzer Rebbe, Ger Rebbe, grandson of the Alter of Nevardik, Alter of Slobodka, and the Alter of Kelm. And Rabbi Cheskel Sarna, the Rosh Hashiva of Hebron, a great man in his own right, he began to stir the pot. He got up and posed a controversial challenge. He said, in the last 100 years, which individual did the most, achieve the most for the Jewish people? I know what you're thinking. Everyone in the room thinks it was their grandfather. You think it was your grandfather, the Chavetz Chaim, the Alter of Nevardik, the Alter of Slobodka, the influence they had, the Talmidim, the Sfarim. I'm here to tell you it was none of them. And the guests at the bris became very uncomfortable. They started to motion to Reb Chatzkel to sit down. They whispered, please, stop picking a fight, sit down. People gasped, outrageous. But Rabbi Cheskel didn't back down. He said, I'm going to tell you more. The one who did the most for Klal Yisrael in the last 100 years never even learned a blat Gemara. So at that point, they had enough. They said, stop making a scene. And he continued, he said, I'll tell you even more. But when I say the name, you'll all agree with me. They laughed. But when Rabbi Cheskel Sarna mentioned the name, they all agreed as predicted. The name was Sara Schenirer. Through her establishment of Jewish education for girls, she was able to preserve the tradition of Klal Yisrael. B'nai Torah were able to continue learning, knowing that they would one day find Zivag Hagon, somebody who would be Machshav Torah. This was the great achievement of Sara Schenirer. Niftar Chafvav Adar Tafrei Sadekei Tehei Nishma Sutzura B'tzar HaChaim.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.